Future Dave here. I'm editing this video and I've realised that some of it's a little disjointed. The camera seems to have not recorded some portions for some reason. Perhaps I just didn't notice it go off, but you'll just have to make do. It'll jump around a bit, but I'll try and cut it so it's at least still interesting. Sorry. You might be able to hear a fan in the background. It's not really a fan, it's a heater. It's cold, so I've had to put it on. But the weather's set to get a lot warmer. My heating's massively ineffectual. When we had the, what was it, the beast from the east or something like that. It's like a bit of colder weather came in. I say a bit, it was very cold, but my heating conked out and it ended up being 2 degrees in my house at one point, which is, that's pretty cold, isn't it? Anyhow, it's a lazy Sunday. Getting off the point. I've got 2 kits here. We're only going to make one of them, and I thought we'd just have a little look at both because I can't really recall what they are. I think this one's the so using a 4017, I think. It's like a Knight Rider type thing, I think. Oh, losing some bits here. Let's have a look what chip it is. Yeah, it's the 4017. So this is the little Knight Rider thing. That could be quite fun actually. There's not an awful lot going on in it, and it looks like there's probably a 555 timer in there too. So the other one, I can't really remember. These are things from postbags, honestly, such a long time ago. A little bit of an echo in here today. It's because I've got all the doors closed in the hope that the heating stays in. The heat stays in. Let's see. So, it's got a 74HC393, we've got some LEDs, 4060, so some, oh no, we've got a 4 meg crystal here, so we're dividing stuff down. So T5, T6, is this like a frequency generator? I don't know, I wish I could read that. Oh look. 262.144 kilohertz to 256 hertz, 128 hertz to 1 hertz. Yeah, I think it's going to be a thing that kicks out frequencies, isn't it? So, actually, oh, I haven't really had a proper play with it. I was going to say, maybe we'll do this for the next one and we'll get my scope involved, my new scope. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do this 4017 thingy. I just want to have a chat anyway. It's not really like that's going to be a big surprise to anyone, the 4017 thing, but let's do it. Right, so we've got some LEDs in here. This looks like there's some instructions actually, and a broken bag, which is probably why it ended up in that in the wave share packet. So we've got our circuit board, nice solder mask on there, so that's going to make it a lot easier. Is it solder mask? I can't remember whether the white stuff is solder mask or if it's called something else. I don't know, I can't recall. I'm sure I asked this in another video and someone told me and I've again forgotten. So we've got, yeah, we've got a 4017 and a NE555. So it is going to be these going across, I guess. I don't know whether they come back again. Again, I remember asking that when we first picked this up in a mailbag, wondering whether it would go back again, but I don't see how it would, because the 4017 is a decade counter, and so you ping in the clock. You've got an enable and reset line here. Hopefully you can see that. I know it's very, in fact, let's come, we'll give you a, for anyone with older eyes or with smaller monitors, this will be helpful, I'm sure. So you can see our 4017, it's a little decade counter thing. So we've got a clock, enable and reset, and every time that clock is pulsed, so it goes high and then low, starting off at low, so low, high, like that. We jump along these Q outputs, so they will be high, low, high, all the way low. God, I can't talk. So whichever one it's landing on, it goes high, and then that remains high until the next clock pulse. So we've got a clock pulse from the 555 here. It's just a standard timer thing. And we've got an adjustable potentiometer here, which I suppose all potentiometers are adjustable. So we're going to be able to adjust the timing of that. So yeah, okay, it should be a fairly simple circuit to put together, but hopefully fun and relaxing. We'll see. That's not good, is it? Hopefully I can bend those out. If not, I've got loads of these upstairs, so I can go and get some. Or we could just solder the chip right in. It doesn't bother me. I don't know if it'll fit in there. And the little holes. Yeah, it would do. We could solder it straight in. Doesn't really matter. So recently there was a live stream that took place that I sort of tried to encourage people to go to by the Unexpected Maker. And I keep saying he's Australian. I think that he might be, but I don't know that for sure. He's certainly in a different time zone and he sounds a bit Australian, but then I've been caught out before with people not actually being Australian. What am I doing? Let's do resistors first, shall we? So we want, should be a 10K and a 2K. Oh no, here we go. Anyway, yeah, he did a stream recently and I liked his channel. He's very charming. So he commented on one of my videos a while back, I think. And so I think he might have been asking for help on, like asking me how I videoed stuff, how I do this bit and how I light it. And so I think I gave him some help. I don't know. Either way, it was a fun stream and you guys should definitely sort of check it out if you get time. So yeah, just head on. I put a video about it, so you can take a look. Anyway, back to the task at hand. Let's get these resistors in, because otherwise this is going to take forever. It's already been running for like, God knows how long. 8 minutes. We haven't done anything yet. Let's get these 1Ks in. Yeah, so the stream was really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. And do you know what else I enjoyed? Sort of shining a light onto some other people that are creating things. So I will promise to do a bit more of that. I mean, I can only do it for the people that I know. So there's a guy who runs a channel called Dubious Engineering, Howard. He's a nice guy. And he's well worth a look. He's more onto the physical side of things. So, you know, he's more into endangering his digits, let's say. He's working with what is a router, not an electronics one. You know, one of those ones where you sort of hold it on a bit of wood and move it around. One of those, but he's flipped it upside down inside a table and made what can only be described as a maiming machine. So he's well worth a look. Actually, it didn't look like it maimed him, but he's been doing some cool stuff with some Raspberry Pis, and he's got some sort of videos about him making retro Pi stuff. But I mean, there are loads more. Like I could mention, the Duty Paid is a subscriber of mine, and for anyone that comments, I do end up looking at your channels eventually. So I do see you if you're making content. So there's the GT Paid. Really like the GT Paid's style of presenting, actually. I think it's just quite methodical. I like the voice. It's good. But of course there are so many others. Right, so we've got those there. Yeah, I was talking about the binary clock. Well, I don't really want to. It's sort of close to being finished, so I'm kind of happy enough, but it's just one of those things where it's going to take a bit of time. Are there meant to be more of these? Why have I got more? Oh yeah, there are. How did I miss those? Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, when you get to the final hurdle of almost any project, it feels like the hardest part, just finishing it. And I know you guys are sort of expecting it, so the pressure's sort of on. I don't want to disappoint you, so it's easier for me not to try, if you know what I mean. So once that's done, once it's soldered to kit, I'm not going to be doing any more on it. I'll come up with something else. There'll be a new project. Well, there's the pixel display that I'm working on. And I just want to, before I finish that, before I start it rather, I want to explore NeoPixels a little bit more, or the cheaper equivalent. find out the current requirements, how I might best design a circuit to accommodate them, that kind of thing. So, and that's in focus, good. Pretty dark though. That's there we go. I've got no blue tack, I cannot find it, so we're rocking without some. And we're not going to use any flux on this either, because I don't think we need to. So let's get started. I'll just put my finger on there. All right, I've given up, it's going in the vise. The PCB holder thing, it's just much better. And I really do prefer using it. I mean, I used to prefer using blue tack, but now this thing's come along, it's so much greater. I haven't really attempted to use the BurnTech one yet, or BrunTech. Duratool, it was Duratool, wasn't it? It was just being sold under another brand. Mainly because when I do these really close-up ones, it's easier to have it quite low down, because the camera, the BrunTech one actually comes up to the level of the camera here, so it's easier not to use it. Oh, do you remember that wireless plug I was using, or picked up, the Amish? Someone made a joke about the Amish with that one, but about them using technology. Yeah, the Amish plug. I tried it out, it works. Problem though, and if any of you have picked them up because I bought one, or because you saw that they were so cheap, more likely, they're a bit dodgy when you do the registration thing. So once you've registered, you've got to leave it a couple of hours before you go and try and use the app. It turns out that perhaps their servers, there's a slight disconnect there in that they don't use the same servers. Maybe that's a good thing. But it meant that my plug wasn't recognized by, my login details weren't recognized by the app immediately after I'd created them. So I had to wait a couple of hours and then it worked fine. But I sort of dismissed the product immediately when it didn't work. So you just have to be a little bit patient with it, just like you do with me when I'm soldering things and talking at you for ages. Now, do I have snips anywhere up here? Down here, rather. Yes, I do. The good ones too. So let's take these off. Yeah, so I was playing around with that, and it's really cool. I can just turn this plug off on and off with my phone, which is great. So something that I'd planned to do with those Sonoff ones, and I can just get it in a pre-built plug, which is great. So I will be using the Sonoff thing, but we can also pretend to be a Sonoff device, I think, with a normal ESP8266 and a relay, and do it that way. Again, I say that about lots and lots of things, and you probably hear me say every time we do a post bag or anything, I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be a really, really interesting project, whatever, and then you don't see any of it for months on end. It's just how it works, I guess. I'm easily distracted by making a kit or designing some shiny new thing. Oh, look at that. That's outrageous. Let's fix that then. Which one is it? That one. There we go. All right, let's get, what's next? Probably the LEDs, honestly. Let's throw those in. So I've got a little plus symbol just there. So that tells me the LEDs are going to go in that away. In fact, we can double check. So the cathode, anode, cathode. Cathode is the negative terminal and anode is the positive one. So it looks like the cathode will be going onto this line here, and that hooks into the ground on there. So don't know if you can see that. Yeah, ground just there. And that is exactly where our cathode is heading into. So that's we have got them the right way around, so that's good. I mean, by which I mean the board isn't lying to us, it is correct way around. Let's throw all these in. I mean, the other thing that could be lying to us is the length of the legs on the LEDs. But let's assume that they're all correct. So I've been having a think about what interface to give this pixel display that I'm thinking about. And I'm going to go for a web interface, but also I wanted it to be able to store multiple sort of images, as it were. So it's going to have a 256 pixel display, so 16 by 16, and it will be able to, I don't know if it's going to do animations. See, the thing is that I know there are ones out there already that are really, really amazing. People have sent me links, which is highly annoying because mine are never going to look as good as the links that you send me, I guarantee it. And I love all the features of those ones that you can buy. They're great. But I'm not clever enough to design those. I'm certainly not, I'm not as good enough a coder to be able to design those things. Yeah, I'm just not, I don't have that ability. I certainly don't have that kind of time a lot. So it may be that it's just, it ends up being a little bit of a cutback version, you know, a David Watts special basically, where like the very first crap clock was a bit of a David Watts special. It worked, but it didn't do much else than just tell the time. And it was incredibly overthought. And people had done code for that kind of thing before, and I just ended up writing my own. But that's where the real fun is for me. It's in hacking something together. I absolutely love designing boards and routing them. I really do. And it, honestly, I can then just point to it and say, I made that. Not that I go bragging very much, but you know what I mean. It's just quite nice to know all the capabilities of your board because you made it. You know, I mean, I made a clock a long time ago. It's had a plastic case on it. Do you guys remember that? Had 7-segment displays. Well, it turns out that clock had way more going on with it than I thought. But I didn't know that because I didn't design it. So there's still one that's a bit wobbly, isn't there? Nah, adds to the charm, doesn't it? Let's leave it as it is. Now, let's chop these legs off rather quickly. They're going to go everywhere, but I'm not overly worried. It's going to get caught by all that stuff over there. Whoa. I've been looking into the Tindy store. Looks pretty easy to, oh God, I've just cut those off without soldering the other side. Well, let's pretend I didn't do that and it'll be fine. Because no one will realize. They'll just think this was intentional and that I hadn't got carried away talking. And I can't now hold it this side. Ah. Yeah, so I've been having a look at this Tindy store thing, and it turns out that Tindy has this strange method of charging you for using its services, essentially. So when you make a sale, they take a cut of the final value plus postage, and that's they do that so it's meant to combat, you know, that thing on blooming eBay. Oh, it's such a pain. You know, when people advertise something for 99 pence plus 10.99 shipping, and it's such garbage. When you're going to search for something on eBay, and you want to get the lowest price, as we all do, but you know it's not going to be 99p, and then that floods the first 100 listings or more, and so you never actually end up finding the thing that you want. And I mean, some people just get suckered into that not looking at postage thing. It's just garbage, really, isn't it? There we go. I mean, they're quite bulbous, but it's because I wasn't really soldering onto anything to make it peaked up. Right, what else have we got? So that's done. We've got a capacitor here. Make sure it's in the right way. Long leg on the bit without the hashing. cross-hatched bit. So the white sort of indicates, this white section over here indicates the negative. Wouldn't it be hilarious if I got that wrong now? If I'd thought that for so long and it wasn't true. Oh God, I've completely forgotten what I was saying now. Hopefully you don't mind. The way I look at these things is that I think you guys have come here just to relax for a little bit too and listen to someone else waffle on for a while. Now, we're not going to use these standoff, are we? Is that overly bent? Am I going to be able to unbend those? Oh, my thumb's really orange. It's because I had an orange earlier. Yeah, I can actually. I thought they were going to break off. There we go. Well, let's see if we can just shove it in. It'd be nice to make use of all the parts at least. Well, there we go, it's in. He's making a meal out of this. Oh, I've been having a lot of discussions with people about these hot air guns or hot air rework things. And it looks like I'm probably just gonna have to buy one. Some people have offered me them or offered me an alternative to a hot air gun. So someone offered me a toaster oven. Someone else has offered me a hot air rework station. But I'm happy to buy something myself. It's mainly about thinking, am I going to use it really? Because I super enjoy soldering. I can't imagine like a lazy Sunday hot air gunning, you know, like it just doesn't quite work in my head, but I will give it a go. So I'll purchase one, but it won't be till next month. I'm off to Hong Kong in March. So now, in like a few weeks, 2 weeks, I'm gonna go and do some photography and video in Hong Kong, so that'll be fun. And, oh, but I'm also off to, where am I going? Oh, I'm also off to Amsterdam with my best friend Dave. So that'll be a lot of fun. And that's a week before Hong Kong, so I'm looking forward to that as well. So they're all going to get in the way of everything. So basically, hot air gun will be after March, April, May time. May's my birthday. Well, not the whole of May, just some of May. So maybe I'll get it for a birthday present for myself, perhaps. And then final bit. There we go. We'll chop these leads off and then we will be golden. I think I'm saying that too much. You know when you pick up a saying? Annoying. Right, there we go. So now I just need to find myself a power supply and throw the ICs in. I'll be back in a minute. All right, I've got some batteries. They're pretty ancient. All of the batteries I own now, all the rechargeable ones, are so rubbish. I think I bought 4 Energizer ones last year, and that was for that GPS backpack project. But you know, when I went up Snowdon with some friends and I took a GPS thing that I'd made with me, and so I bought some new batteries for that. But anyway, yeah, so they're all probably pretty rubbish. So let's, well, we know which one's ground, don't we? He says, let's just check. Yeah, this one's ground. Oh, the solder mask is over here, isn't it? I can't see it. So I'm at the wrong angle. Come on now. There we go. Oh, why am I plugging power in? Oh, I might as well. I've started now. I was going to say, why am I doing this when I haven't even put the chips in? I'm not going to roll the 555, I'm just going to squeeze it. Because it's only got 4 pins on either side, it'll be easy enough to do. There we go. Let's lob that in. Wow, it's in enough. If it doesn't work, we'll know why. And we'll roll our 4017. I've got so many of these lying around. Originally, I planned to use 4017s in the binary clock, and so I bought loads of dip packages, only to later realize that I wasn't going to be able to create a kit that would be affordable enough for everyone using dip components, because not only would the board be much larger, but the 4060 ICs and the 4081 ICs are so expensive. It's unbelievable how expensive they are. So this should just start up, hopefully. So we're going to turn it on now. Hey! So what's happening here is we've got the clock pulse from the 555 jumping into one of them down here. In fact, we could probably see it. Does it go through a resistor? Yes, it does. It is that one there. So this trace here going down to pin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Pin 11 maybe? It looks like pin 11 to me, but you can look it up in a data sheet, I imagine. So yeah, the clock pulse is going there, and these are our outputs all connected to these resistors. Yeah, that seems right. Let's get a screwdriver onto this potentiometer and see what changes. So hopefully, if I turn it left, I expect it to go slower. If I turn it right, I expect it to go faster. Yeah, sort of. I don't know. I can't really tell. Okay, well, that's as slow as it will go then. And then we can speed it up. And that's as fast as it goes. So it's only, what's the, a 503. So it's a 5K pot. And so we could change that pot out and get a different value, but it's kind of nice, isn't it? I like it. I mean, I love a 4017, honestly. I think they're great. I love CMOS chips, as you know. Otherwise, I wouldn't have created the binary CMOS clock. Anyway, that's it. That's all we've got time for. And I've probably been talking for far too long. I think this has gone on like 40 minutes for something that really should only take about 20. It's 50 minutes on the camera time. Like, I can see how long it's been. Oh well. Well, it's been nice to hang out again, and I'm glad I picked it up again because I was sort of in a bit of a slump. So, all right, I'll speak to you all soon. It'll probably be binary clock related. I'll probably get round to soldering one of these ones up and having the new version. I have got them in a bag already, so I found a bag that fits, and I've ordered some envelopes, and well, everything should be done soon. All right, I'll speak to you later.